Today I want to share with you holiday cookies. In this season, I am so busy with baking cookies, Stollen, and cakes. Let's get started. Cream the butter until very smooth. In winter, the room temperature is not high enough to cream the butter. Here's my tip as a professional pastry chef. Heat on the flames directly on top of the stove for a few seconds. Melt just outside the butter. Soften the butter with spatula. Repeat heating as much as you need, but don't melt too much. If you melt the butter, the final product would not desired texture. Switch to hand mixer, cream it even smoother. Add sugar and mix well. At this point, you can heat the butter again if it is not easy to mix. Mix until well combined and fluffy for about 3 minutes. Add salt, vanilla, and beaten egg in 3 times. Mix until well combined. After adding the egg, you can't heat the butter mix, otherwise you will make scrambled egg in your butter. Add sifted flour and baking powder. Add 20 grams of almond powder to make the cookies even more tastier if you have on hand. If you don't, just skip it. Mix flour and butter mix with a cutting motion. Fold it as if you are cutting the butter in the flour to distribute the butter evenly. You don't want to knead the dough. If you do that, your cookies would have tough texture. When the dough comes together and just incorporate it, wrap in a plastic wrap and flatten with your fist. Chill until firm. Roll out to 3 mm thick. Cut out with your favorite cutter. Stir and twist for iced cookies. Heart for jam sandwich cookies. Cut out the center. Pop in the 170 degrees Celsius oven for 7 to 8 minutes or until start browning. Take out and transfer to a rack. Cool completely before ice. Let's prepare the icing until well combined. The consistency is spreadable but not too thin. When you scoop the icing and drop it, it's going to take 5 to 6 seconds to be disappeared, and that is a good consistency. In Japan, it's relatively high in the humidity. We have to make it a little bit firmer side, otherwise it's going to be very messy. If you are living in a drier country, the consistency will be thinner. Cut off a very small hole to tip of the back. Draw the outline first and then fill the entire surface with moving tip back and forth. Use toothpick to fill the gap. Let them dry overnight. Next, let's finish chocolate sandwich cookies. Before finishing, let's take a look at how to make kone. Kone is a small piping bag made with parchment paper. cut the parchment paper diagonally. Roll the paper into a cone. The tip comes down from the corner. Squeeze tightly and set with a stapler. And it's done. It looks not so easy, but you can make it after practicing several times. Melt chocolate in microwave. Cook 20 seconds on 600 watt. Repeat until melt. Transfer to a cornet. Pipe out good amount of chocolate, then set the other cookies on top. Chocolate sandwich cookies add richness to your holiday cookies. It will go away soon. Next, raspberry jam sandwich cookies. Sandwich your jam like we do to the chocolate. Dust the edge with powdered sugar if you want it to. The jam sandwich gives a pretty look to your holiday cookies and gives you a nice tangy taste that making good contrast to sweetness. Once it's set, draw a line with icing. Sprinkle sugar on top. Last but not least, raisin sandwich cookies. This is a very popular sandwich cookie in Japan. First, let's make white chocolate ganache. Melt your white chocolate on a hot bath. To that add boiling heavy cream in 3 times. Mix well each time you are adding the heavy cream. Chill on an ice bath until firm enough to pipe out. Transfer the ganache to piping bag. Pipe out ganache like drawing wheel. Place rum raisin. Then pipe out more ganache on top. Put the cookie on top and push gently to set. Chill in the fridge for 10 minutes and it's done. Look at all of these cookies. We made 5 different cookies from one dough. Pack them up in a box to your friends and families. The texture is crispy and light, not too sweet but satisfying, perfect for holiday coffee break. Give it a try and let me know how you like it. Welcome back to Kitchen Princess Bamboo Japanese Everyday Food. Today I want to share with you how to make holiday restart. It's December. It's the baking season on the planet. As many of you know, we celebrate Christmas as the biggest event of the year. I have several parties in a month and this tart is baked for one of it. It looks overwhelming but actually quite easy to make and easy to cut and serve. Let's get started. To save your time and energy, let's use food processor to prepare pâte chocolat and almond cream. If you don't have one, you can do it with your bowl and whisk. Add vanilla, salt, and almond powder. Pulse to combine. Add cake flour and pulse until the dough comes together. Wrap in a piece of plastic wrap and chill in the fridge or freezer until firm. Let's move on to the almond cream. In the same food processor, put the butter in and process until softened. Add powdered sugar and process to combine. Add the egg one at a time, process to combine. You have to scrape down the side occasionally. Add salt and almond essence if you have your hand, and mix to combine. Add almond powder and mix to combine. The ratio of almond cream is so simple and easy to remember. Transfer to piping bag and set aside until used. Now let's prepare the custard cream. Put the half amount of sugar in a heavy bottom pot. Pour milk and cook on medium heat until gentle boil. Put your egg yolk in a small bowl. Add the rest of the sugar and whisk until pale in color. Add vanilla and flour and cornstarch. Mix to combine. Add a tablespoon of hot milk mixture into egg mixture and whisk to combine. Add 2 tablespoons of hot milk mixture and mix. Repeat the process one more time. Pour the egg and milk mixture back into the pot. Turn the heat to medium. Cook until plastic, stirring constantly. The boiling point is different between each ingredient. We have to cook after the boiling to make sure all the ingredients are cooked. The cream should look like this and little bit runny, and it's done cooking. Add in butter and mix vigorously until the cream comes back together. Pour out into a bowl in an ice bath to chill quickly. Now let's assemble. Take out your pâte sucrée and soften it with your rolling pin. Place the dough between plastic wraps. Roll out inside to outside little by little. Keep in mind that the dough will shrink if you force to roll out. Roll it out gently and slowly. Peel off a plastic and press it over the mold, the dough side down. Tuck the side down and press gently to fit to the mold. Peel off the other plastic and press the corner gently with dusted finger. Cut off the excess dough. Keep the rest of the dough for the later use. Cut out the center with 12 cm circle. Roll out the rest of the dough and make a long ribbon-shaped dough. Wrap it around the circle and set it back to the center. Prick the dough to cook crispier. Fill the shell with almond cream. Pipe it or spoon it like I do. Pop it in the 180 degrees Celsius oven for 40 to 45 minutes or until golden brown. Smell like heaven in my kitchen. Take out onto a rack and cool completely. Meanwhile, prepare the custard cream. Pass through a sieve to make it smooth. Add unsweetened whipped cream to make it lighter. You can use the custard as it is, but I recommend to mix with whipped cream because it keeps softness and tastes better. Prepare slightly sweetened whipped cream if you want to. Wash your strawberry and cut off the stem. If the strawberry is big, cut in half. Use small in size as it is. Pipe out custard in a small bowl or around the tart in 2 rows. Pipe whipped cream if you want to on the custard. Here comes the fun part. Arrange your strawberry as you like. I like it looks like flower because it makes as a wreath. Have fun with it or do it with your kids. Arrange blueberry as well. Place mint leaves here and there and it looks perfect. Last but not least, dust with your powdered sugar. There you have it. Well, this is for my friends, so I couldn't taste it. So I made a small one with the leftover ingredients. I think the tart has all the elements of baking. Crispy crust, rich and fatty, almond cream, custard cream is silky and creamy, and the strawberry adds the tartness. All the goodness in one piece. It tastes so good. It is definitely a crowd-pleasing dessert in holiday season. Give it a try and let me know how you like it. Hi friends! Welcome to Kitchen Princess Bamboo Japanese Everyday Food. Today I'm gonna be making Stollen. I used to bake hundreds of Stollen at this time of the year when I ran a pastry shop. My Stollen was so famous and people waited for the holidays. And my baking class teaches Stollen was so popular at that time. My Stollen is not the brioche-like fluffy style. It's moist and dense and has a lot of texture and flavor. Stollen is a traditional German holiday bread, of course. I have tried so many recipes not only from Germany but all around the world. I have developed the recipe over time and I finally get the best recipe. You will need a lot of ingredients to make the best Stollen, but it's just once a year thing and definitely worth it. Let's get started. A day before making Stollen, we are making a sponge dough. Mix salt and bread flour together and then add in the yeast. Mix until evenly mixed. Pour in the water in 3 stages. Mix until evenly incorporated. Cover with a piece of plastic and then let it sit in the fridge overnight or at least 6 hours. You don't really have to knead the dough for the sponge. The ingredients will slowly ferment over time and the sponge will develop the gluten and comfortable yeasty aroma. The next day, take out the sponge from the fridge before preparing the ingredients. Let's make an almond paste for the dough. It's so simple that you wanna mix almond powder and egg white. You can use marzipan for this. But in Japan, marzipan is not quite easy to access and it's not that affordable, so I always make my own. Set aside until used. Next, chop the walnuts. The walnuts has been roasted in the oven until fragrant. Around 10 minutes at 160 degrees Celsius. Walnut is easy to burn, so do not roast it on high heat. The butter should be at room temperature and soft to mix in. But now it's too cold to soften the butter at room temperature, so what I'm going to do is slice it up and warm it up for a few seconds directly on the stove. Leave it for a while until soft. Next, let's blend the spices. Here is my blend. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ginger and allspices, and a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg and clove. And I add a dash of 5 spice powder and freshly ground black pepper. You can add more or less. The ratio is up to you. Add spices, salt and sugar to the bread flour. Let's take a look at the sponge. The sponge should look like this. It looks bubbly and smells wonderful. Add in the dry ingredients and almond paste. Add in softened butter and start mixing on low until it forms a dough. Turn the speed to medium and knead for 7 to 8 minutes until smooth and elastic. Add in dried fruits preserved in dark rum and simple syrup. You can make your own preserved fruit by chopping and preserving in the same part of the simple syrup and dark rum. Knead until all the ingredients are incorporated. Cover and let it sit while we are making almond paste for the filling. Now let's make almond paste for the inside if you can access to marzipan, go ahead and use it because it's so tasty. This is a different recipe from the almond paste for the dough. You will need almond powder and put in a stand mixer bowl. Put your sugar and honey and water into a pot and bring it to a boil. Pour over almond powder while the mixer running. It's optional, but add in the almond extract if you have one to make it better. Preferably bitter almond extract. This will make a very nice fragrance. Take out onto your working surface and divide into desired portions, in this case 100 grams. It is sticky while it is warm, but it turns into a pliable paste when it comes to a room temperature. Cover and set aside until used. Now let's shape the stollen. Actually, it's easy, but people make stollen only once a year, so they can't not make a good shape. The only way to getting better is make a lot of it and share with your friends and families. Divide the dough into half a pound for smaller stollen and a pound for a larger stollen. The dough doesn't look like rice or fermented, but no worries. We added a sponge to make it right. I think smaller is better for a gift. Shape into a ball and let it rest for 10 minutes. Here is how I do for the shaping. Roll it out for an inch thickness and fold in 3 from top and bottom. Then hold in half and pinch to seal. Seam side up and flatten a little bit. Mark a center and then roll out the upper dough. Leave the edge thicker than the center. Sprinkle a little bit of chopped semi-sweet chocolate for a change, then place the almond paste. Fold the dough over the almond paste and push to stick the dough together. Press down the upper side of the dough to look like a baby Jesus wrapped in a swaddling cloth. That's it. This is how to shape the stollen. Let's take a look at it one more time with the larger stollen. Cover with the plastic and let it rise at a warm place to 40 to 45 minutes or until it looks fluffy a little bit. Preheat the oven for 170 degrees Celsius while waiting. looks good, let's pop in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes for a smaller one and 45 minutes for a larger one. It's a rich dough with a lot of ingredients, so it requires a longer time on lower heat to make sure it is cooked. While baking, let's prepare vanilla sugar for finishing. This is an optional but vanilla pot which I used for the baking. Rinsed and dried in the after heat of the oven, I always keep the vanilla pot for the Stollen. Mix the same part of powdered sugar and white sugar and add in vanilla sugar for the aroma. Melt your butter in a small pot and keep warm until Stollen is baked. Take out the Stollen and leave it at room temperature for about 10 minutes. Soak in warm butter while still warm. Then cover with the vanilla sugar mixture. Wrap in the plastic while still warm and leave it to room temperature. You can keep the moisture if you wrap still warm, and the sugar makes the outer layer to keep longer. After it cools down, let's wrap it up. Take off the plastic and add some more vanilla sugar mixture. Wrap it tight with the plastic. Place it on a cellophane sheet and wrap it up and secure with the tape. And tie a ribbon with your favorite strings or ribbon you have on your hand. I like to use satin ribbon to make it gorgeous. It's slippery, so you want to make sure to use the tape to stick the ribbon, but do not use too much. Hang a small tag with a message, and there you have it, the world's famous Stollen. Stollen will last a couple of weeks in winter, but if you are living in a warm place, keep in the fridge. Look at this, so moist and dense, and the warm spices will coming through your nose. I feel it is so much holidays. I recommend to serve warm to bring up the aroma of the spices. My holiday is always comes from food, obviously. I hope you will love it too. Give it a try and let me know how you like it.